Okay, I did it. Awesome. I think this is perfect. I'm back in the form of a different type of video. This isn't gonna be something, I gotta look more over here. This isn't gonna be something that is like normal and standard. That probably looks weird. This isn't gonna be normal and standard, okay? I gotta do a school project and this is the way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a video about it because it is ethnic studies. I'm gonna put a little whoosh here that makes it look super cool. Anyway, yeah, so it's gonna be about ethnic studies. Isn't that interesting? Let me go get the notebook because I kind of forgot to grab it. Okay, it's right here. Yeah, this is awesome. So anyway, I'm gonna be talking about two different things. Wait, 4 different things. So we're gonna be talking about racial formation, intersectionality, systems of oppression, and the 4 I's, which is, yeah, I'll just get to it later. Anyway, all right, let's begin with racial formation. I'm gonna put it right here to make it look super cool with my green screen because I need to use it. Racial formation is a social construct that not society, maybe some other crazy political power. I'm not political, so don't. It is specifically the socio-historical process by which racial categories are created, maintained, and altered over time. So pretty much, it's a theory on how society has created these racial norms, pretty much, like race and gender. So it's like, I'm white, at least that's what I look like, but actually I am Mexican and I identify as a Mexican and Latino, or Latinx as most people like to call it. So society has created these specific things to make them, sorry for the bad joke, but pretty much black and white. That's pretty much what it is. Racial formation, yeah, that's what that is. I also have this chart here. If it can, don't read it because it's actually in my own words and I'm not very fond of it. So what I wrote down is the different types of racial categories countries such as the U.S. put race into, and I also learned that race is a social construct made by society to describe people and assume personality traits based on their race. So it's unfair and it's not cool, and pretty much it's just discrimination all around. So that is what racial formation is, and I'm just reading it because I keep getting confused with the name. I've taken this multiple times, or retake this specific take multiple times, but racial formation, you know what, I'm just gonna all right, the next one we're getting into is intersectionality. Intersectionality, yes, and that is about pretty much, I'll just sum it up real quick, pretty much of what intersectionality is. I need to get my drawing, give me a second. I'm fixing myself here because I just noticed in my old videos I kept looking this way and I gotta look right here dead on to the camera. So anyway, am I looking right? I think I am. There it is. I found it. Okay, sorry about that. Intersectionality. Pretty much, it was this person named Kimberly Crenshaw. I'll put her image right here. She examines how various social identities, race, gender, and class, and they intersect to create a unique. What did I write down? Unique modes of discrimination and privilege, and it considers how different forms of oppression such as race, sexism, and homophobia interconnect and impact individuals of those groups. So pretty much what intersectionality is it's like sort of like a highway, pretty much. I remember I saw a video on this that we saw. I can't play it right here. Maybe I can put it in here with some special effects. I don't know. I gotta figure out how to do that. So it's the basic model that is found with intersectionality is of what Kimberly Crenshaw put it as a intersection of sorts. So like intersectionality, she coined that term. So yeah, it makes sense why she'd use that sort of thing. But it's like you're in the middle. A person's is in the middle. If I can put it here, it'd be great. So a person is in the middle, and they're targeted pretty much. All these cars and separate cars are intertwined, and they combine to be different forms of discrimination and ram into them, and it's not as brutal as you think it is. It sounds really brutal, and I'm gonna put a picture here so you can actually understand it better rather than me just explaining it, because I can't really explain anything, and I do understand these topics. Anyway, on to the next one. Now we're moving on to systems of oppression. Yes, that is systems of oppression. I gotta give myself more time to put these things up here. I know it's gonna look like pretty bad. But anyway, systems of oppression. are organized, institutionalized, and pervasive structures of power that disadvantage certain groups while privileging others based on characteristics such as our usual ones: race, gender, and class. Okay, I don't know why I did this, but you know, if I put it here, race, gender, class. Wait, race, gender, and class. That's the way that systems of oppression are, which are, I want to say maybe, and at least in my beliefs, I feel like the government uses it to really push down certain groups of people and kind of make it all about, you know, your race, gender, and class, because that's the way most things kind of form in discrimination. It depends on, oh, look at my car, it's all great and shiny. I might have this car and it looks awesome. And oh, you have this car and it freaking sucks. So they're just gonna start being really mean to you on that. That's just pretty much dumbing it down to like the basics. But that's really what systems of oppression are. It's just organized, institutionalized, and pervasive structures of power. And now time to get into my favorite one. The four eyes. I think they're okay. Well, you got ideological, and then you got institutional, and then you got interpersonal, and then you got internalized. So for this one, I'm gonna definitely pull out the drawing that I made because I think it's pretty cool. Give me a sec. All right, I got my drawing right here. It's pretty bad. Okay, don't. I mean, you know I like art, but don't judge me, okay, Professor? Please don't. It's pretty bad. I know you said you like it, but I mean, this is pretty bad. So right here, you got my drawing of the tree there. So I like this one better because although it kind of confuses me on like the points on where each one fall into place, but pretty much I'm gonna explain it the best way I can. You got internalized oppression. I put it as the apple, and I put the apples pretty much from the tree as self-hate, drugs, doubt, and you also got abuse, right? So that's going to be like the apples falling down. You know, I should have probably started with the roots. Okay, so let me start over. So the roots is institutionalized oppression. You got racism, classism, silencing. You got immigration, you got oppression, and you got cultural bias. So these are the things like the foundation of the tree that pretty much form the rest of the tree. And then let's say the trunk is interpersonal oppression. So you got the people, and they're starting to kind of believe it inside themselves, like these stereotypes and the name calling and the racial slurs that are targeted against these people, and they're taking it from there, and they're an interpersonal kind of thing, right? That's internalized, right? No, interpersonal, sorry. And then you got ideological oppression, which are the tree leaves, and that is stuff such as albiism. Sorry, I read that wrong. Albiism, and you got race, and then you also got the apples, like I was saying earlier. The apples are going to be internalized oppression, so it's abuse, doubt, self-hate, and then drugs. There you go. See, that makes way more sense. So way more sense. Anyway, so yeah, so you got the four eyes of oppression there. And that's just to pretty much dumb it down. I'll explain everything else right after this. There's a reason why I specifically chose to do my video in this format. It's because I do want to post it online so everybody can see it and maybe kind of learn a little bit of something while I could just be a little bit funny. So this really is just a project for my ethnic studies class. And Professor, I hope you like it. But pretty much, I know I just kind of gave a brief thing, and those are pretty bad, descriptions and like explanations of what these really are. But racial formation, intersectionality, systems of oppression, and the four eyes of oppression. These are the things that we've learned so far, and I know that they're pretty important because without them, you won't be able to classify different types of discrimination that we as a country and as people face every single day. So racial formation, although I did write down that specific meaning, it's more specifically like how people or the government or just anybody really that you pretty much don't like pretty much the way that people want to judge other people based on their looks, and they just group them, and that's how you get racism, and that's how you get discrimination and targeting from and what's it called, what's the word I'm looking for, hate crimes. There you go, hate crimes. That's how you get hate crimes, because people really truly believe in these discriminatory things, and it's not good, because that's how you get things such as intersectionality. Whoa. So again, like I did know that it was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw. She was a really important activist in terms of women's rights, and specifically black women's rights, which I didn't know who she was before taking the class. She described intersectionality as like an actual intersection, and because of that, it's because you get one person and they're getting targeted by all these different types of things, and it's just, that's what it is. Discrimination is an intersection in a way. Like, maybe I may not be explaining it the best way that she did, or maybe that you did, Professor, but it is just that simple. That's the basic way to understand intersectionality. It's just, I'm just gonna basically pretty much read what I wrote down here. It considers how different forms of oppression such as racism, sexism, homophobia interconnect and impact individuals and groups, because it's an intersection. All these different things can impact one individual if they're standing in the middle. They could just be having one bad day, and then all these things just hit them really bad, and it's bad. That's all you gotta know. And then you got systems of oppression. So these things are the ones specifically more on the political side. So it's more so, I guess, people in power, the 1%, or those that are very wealthy and better off than most people in the world. So they use these sorts of, I'm just gonna say it, systems of oppression. They use these specifically to target anybody. It kind of is sort of like racial formation, but instead of targeting race specifically, which they do as well, they target more on your class, I guess. And they try to find more ways to oppress the people and to kind of weed them out, weed the herd in a way, to pretty much be as mean as possible. So like, that's why you have the characteristics such as race, gender, and class. They find these ways. If they can't find anything else on you, they're gonna point out and be like, hey, you have blue eyes. Just kidding, it's not something like that. But imagine people really, wait, did anybody really do that? But just imagine somebody went up to you and they said that you don't have blue eyes and you suck because of that. That's what systems of, no, I'm just kidding, that's not really what it is. But it's just more so simple in terms of that. And then you got my favorite, okay, I gotta adjust this real quick, give me a second. So then you got my favorite one, the 4 eyes of oppression. So it's ideological, the beliefs and ideas and myths that justify the support of stereotypes. And then you got interpersonal, where it's more like the whole, I'm not even gonna explain it. I think I already explained it, but pretty much, to sum it up, I don't wanna make this video super long, I can't. I just wanna show that I understand these topics. The 4 eyes of oppression: ideological, interpersonal, institutional, and internalized. These things come together, and it also, all these things pretty much relate to each other. You got racial formation, intersectionality, systems of oppression, and the 4 eyes of oppression. These are super, I don't need this anymore, super specific ways to discriminate someone in any way. And it's horrible, because we have all these different types of oppression and racism and sexism, and I didn't know about all these different types of things until I took this class, and it's really sad to know that we're still fighting a bunch of fights. Not gonna get political, but I understand what this whole thing's, I understand the topics that we learned pretty much so far. It's really horrible, and I hope this is the best way to put it. If I get a really bad grade on this, I apologize. I guess. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's all I got. I hope you guys liked it. Goodbye.